When we went up there to see what the Beacon project was actually about, we were so astounded because that area was what you call the slums of Cornwall. And they managed to change it around, and the things that they actually had there was brilliant. So we turned around to Hazel and said, we're going to do this, we think we can do it better.
We took a minibus full of residents and helping hands, representatives across to Beacon. Beacon residents and partnership laid on a pasty lunch. It was absolutely the most pivotal moment when I knew Redruth North would then take off.
Out of that meeting, believe it or not, Redruth North Partnership was formed. We had a REACH project which brought the police and the paramedics in on the estate, and somehow all the other agencies have finally come on board to this area which is improving everybody's health and lifestyle.
We listened to the people, they told us their top issues were policing, absolutely top of their list. And bearing in mind with Beacon, we were beginning to understand that communities know what they need to heal themselves. And if they said policing was top of their list, then this was what we would target. Secondly, they said it was things for young people to do. Thirdly, they said it was health, access to health. The most pivotal moment, though, without a doubt, was when we were able to influence the local police force to provide a neighbourhood beat police team headed by PC Mark Griffin.
In a sentence, it was, for me, it was about community empowerment and the community sort of taking responsibility for a number of their own social issues.
10 years ago, we couldn't get a policeman on the estate because we was known as a red area. Only time you ever saw a policeman is if you'd done a crime and he came here to arrest you. In the last 4 years, 5 years, we've had a new police beat manager, Mark Griffin, and when we saw him we said, oh, another policeman. So he said, give me a chance, and I give him credit, he's actually joined the community, and by him joining the community, he's managed to turn the estate around completely.
Well, when we first came 4 or 5 years ago, it was probably a challenge would be the best way to describe it. The first meeting that we went to, there was lots of sort of accusations and mistrust about what the police and other agencies had done, because I think quite rightly the community had identified that they had been let down, and I think quite rightly at the time 4 years ago the police apologised for that, for what had happened historically. However, the police and the community, if you like, or those that represented that meeting 4 years ago, we sort of drew a line in the sand and said, look, whilst there are problems that have gone on historically, we all need to move forward together.
When we're out on foot patrol, to provide a high-vis patrol for the public, and check out the areas, make sure the youths in the area are behaving themselves, and if the public need to talk to us and give us information, then hopefully be there to pass the information on to us.
Well, there are two things. One is the tidying up of the estate, of our little estate then, fencing, etc., and plants. Also, I thought that the paramedic scheme was ideal. It only came once, I think it's once a week, on a Thursday, between certain times, and if you had an ingrown toenail, if you had a cut lip, anything like that, They were so helpful to me. I went 4 times running. They were so helpful to me, and I thought it was so much better than having to go to minor injuries or into the surgery. Just whip across the road and see your paramedic, and that was brilliant, and he was outstanding. I think Kevin is the mainstay because he's so kind and willing and helpful.
Kevin is our worker.
It's about communities taking responsible ownership for their issues, and it's quite easy to sit inside your home and say that things are a problem and things are an issue, but this community has taken that on board. Individual residents and community groups have come out and said, we want to be involved, we want to make a difference and be involved in making that difference. And I think that's the key thing to take away, is that if you give people the opportunity to make change, they will make it, but they have to be given the opportunity in the first place and supported in doing so. It's developed in many ways, but the most sort of encouraging way for me in the work that I do is to see the number of individuals that are willing to engage with processes that they're able to influence, such as unitary authority, district council, shaping service provision to them across a wide range of aspects: health, policing, fire service, all of the kind of statutory provision that you would expect. But also shaping projects for themselves to deliver and resolve issues. So yeah, I mean, it's moved on from waiting for things to be done for them to active involvement in making things happen.
Well, I think they've pulled their socks up and they realise what they're doing and what they're doing is wrong, because in this area it's gone very quiet. So something must be working.
We've got a number of programmes, mainly revolving around engagement and training, furthering individuals' prospects to employment. One of the most recent has been Greenfingers, where we've had 15 young people come in who are all residents within the Redruth North ward, come onto a training programme where they've achieved an NVQ Level 1 in horticulture. Basically, they get involved with the community, involved with elderly residents or people on low incomes, people with disabilities, in maintaining their garden and open spaces around the community. This gives them a kind of a work ethic, if you like, which they don't have or wouldn't have before. And from then on, they move into a kind of employment that they're interested in, or further education that provides them with gainful employment.
These here are just a few of the letters that we've actually received praising the work of what the partnership is actually doing. This one, for instance, says, "Dear Anne, we're writing to you to tell you how much we appreciate the work Kevin Hawke has done to make life much better on Goodnight estate." This is from a residence down the other estate. "Dear Kevin, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for your help in replacing our front door. We have tried for many years to have this done, as our old one was unsafe and they was worried about security."
Everybody that we've engaged with feels that our work and our project and the activities that we undertake are beneficial to the community or to individuals within the community. And they'd all like to see it continue in some form or another. The difficulty is finding funding to make that happen.
Well, Operations Goodnight is a very exciting initiative that came about following lots of collective decision making and consultation between not only the police but our other partners like West Cornwall Antisocial Behaviour Team, the social landlords in the area, but very much involved working alongside and with the community, people like the Redruth North Partnership and the residents associations that are in the area of this part of Redruth North.
The residents were saying, okay, things have changed dramatically on this estate, but we've still got this nuisance of children, groups, not always children, but groups, people making a nuisance late at night. It was a community asking parents to take responsibility for their under 16-year-olds.
It was all about, if young people are out after 9 o'clock, let's have mum or dad with them. Let's have mum or dad aware of where they are after 9 o'clock at night. not necessarily having to sort of be watching them all the time, but if young people are going to a friend's house at 10:20 or on their way back from the cinema, let's at least make sure mum and dad know where they're going and that young people are safe whilst they're out and about when it was dark.
Well, throughout Operation Goodnight, it was absolutely amazing here. Antisocial behaviour was down to a minimum. Crime was down to a minimum. We've seen very few people youngsters out on the street after 9 o'clock. It was absolutely great. I mean, a lot of them are back into the family home again, which they should be in the first place. It was a very good operation.
Operation Goodnight, as a lot of people know, over the summer, because we had a lot of problems with youngsters out in the park and out on the roads, language, mindless vandalism. A lot of the elderly were frightened, people couldn't sleep at night. But since Operation Goodnight, you wouldn't believe it. You can go to bed now, windows open, you can sit in your back garden, and it's actually lovely.
My wife was targeted by the youngsters here years ago, jumping the edges, banging on the windows, breaking down the edges of the lock, but it's completely disappeared now. We don't get it. Since the curfew, everything is gone. It's unbelievable. You don't think you're in the same world. I know it's still around us, I know, because I hear from people that it's still around, but it's not in this area at the moment.
Operation Goodnight isn't something that we came up with on a Monday as an idea and thought we'd deliver on a Tuesday. This has come off the back of a lot of hard work, 4 or 5 years of neighbourhood policing and partnership work. But with regard to Operation Goodnight locally, we've just finished a community consultation and we've knocked on every single one of 609 houses, and where people have been in, we've done face-to-face consultation, and where they were out, we've left a prepaid envelope with a survey for them to complete and return to the police station.
Yeah, they're on a roll, and I think the residents themselves, I think, will tell you what a difference the Redruth North Partnership has made in their lives in a comparatively short time.
The next thing that we intend doing is setting up a social enterprise modelled on the Beacon project in Falmouth, as was the initiation of the Redruth North Partnership. So yeah, I mean, it's setting up a social enterprise further in Greenfingers and starting to employ those trainees that we've got to deliver contracts back to coastline housing or private individuals, and thus providing us with a sustainable income for the future. Hopefully we'll be able to generate enough income to warrant salary, and thus not require any statutory or grant-making funding.
You've got to be in that situation to see where we've got today, and it has been brilliant. And I will say, if we can do it as a community, other communities can do it.